Could be
Are
wrong,
we
but
live in the group? We are live in the group.
what a
That is
great
kind of cool,
day.
man. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
I'll mute myself now. Goodbye.
Would you mind making me the host again? All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, so you guys, good morning. So we are good to go. We are recording. We're live in the group. You see Emily and Justin here. It is going to be an awesome day. So you guys, do me a favor. Tell me how yesterday was for you. Yesterday we kicked things off. The people that are live on the webinar function are just, they're going crazy right now. But for you guys in the Facebook, how's everything? How's everything yesterday? Give us some good news. So let's kick off today. You know, yesterday we really challenged you guys. One of the things that I asked you to do was to suspend all thinking and all fear. For us to do this, you got to go. It's not much thinking. It's not much should I, shouldn't I? What do I say? How do I say? You just got to go. There's very simple process to a business like this. And one is all of you guys have a very unique story. And today we're going to be talking about story. All of you guys have a huge network of people, whether you believe you do or you don't, you do. And this is where our list comes in. And now we just got to go and we got to share. I remember Brian Drollinger telling us years ago, the simplicities of this business is eat the food and talk to people. Eat the food and talk to people. So a couple things I want to challenge you with before I bring on Andrea and Chris Kidd, who's really going to share their story with us, how they ran to executive director. But a couple things I do. You know, I was working with a group of people with the Azusa Pacific University football team. And one of the things that, you know, I expressed to their coaches, just from a leadership standpoint, was one of the reasons why they wouldn't be as successful as they wanted to be, and their kids wouldn't be as successful, and they wouldn't go win a national championship. It's just something like this. I said, I'm going to show you in 2 minutes why most people are not as successful as they have the God-given ability to do. And so I want you guys to do this with me really fast, okay? Everyone that's sitting there, all of you guys on the Facebook Live, all of you guys here on the webinar. You guys cool with doing this? Drop a 1 if you'll do this. If you're driving, don't do this. But if you're stationary, then do this. If you're holding a kid, put that kid down, right? Have the kid do this too. But all I want you to do is just interlace your fingers to where it feels right, to where it feels warm and cozy and comfy. You guys have that? Okay. Now I just want you to open up your fingers and move it over one spot. How's that feel? How's that feel, you guys? It probably feels a little yucky. Describe it. How's it feel? It feels weird. It don't feel right. Feels maybe a little bit uncomfortable, strange, awkward. Okay. So now just open them up again and put them back into their nice, comfy spot. Didn't that feel good? It feels, yeah, it feels like a little hug, man. Doesn't it feel like a little hug? When I was drinking coffee, you know, I think I gave coffee up for March Madness. I haven't had it since. But this is how coffee used to make me feel. It's just nice and comfy and cozy. So I said, I just explained to you why most people won't reach their goals. Because they won't get comfortable with this position with their hand not being in a comfortable position. Isn't that crazy? They won't do it. And they won't learn the lessons from here to here. See, all of this fear that you're going through, all this discomfort, all this stuff is there to teach you the lesson too. And for you to reach your goals by the end of this time that we have together, you're going to have to get really comfortable with discomfort. A tool that I want you to start using is daily, me and a couple people use this, and it's called I Will Win the Day. And so daily, what we do is we put down on a little 3x5 card, and we make a covenant, a commitment, an agreement with ourselves to what we're going to do to win that day. The problem is most of you guys let the day run you, and you don't actually run the day. What I learned years ago is I'm going to now be the creator of my life, and I'm going to start to be the creator of my day. No longer am I going to be a byproduct of my own life and let life run me. I'm going to start running life. And so some of my I will win the days are I'm going to drink at least 100 ounces of water today. That's a promise I'm making myself. I'm going to walk the hill over in Signal Hill 10 times. I'm going to connect and share my story with 10 people. I'm going to follow up with 10 past clients. I'm going to tell it that my wife was in there. I'm going to tell my wife that I love her. I'm going to give Amanda a massage. I'm going to read with Ezra. I'm going to breathe and relax. Those are I will win the day. So one of your action steps today is going to be to make an agreement with yourself and start to win the day. So let me move to the side. And I might have to make you the host again. I think we stopped sharing live to the Facebook group. And let me see. Well, I think you might still be the host, actually. I'm not saying that I can make you the host. So let's bring on Andrea and Chris Kidd and have them share with us their run to executive director. And I am not seeing them either. Where'd they go? We're having some technical difficulties today.
Gonna stream again. We've got that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's stream. Are we streaming? We might be. We're at least going to try to stream. Well, we'll see if Andrea and Chris come on. If they do not, then we'll just move this party forward. So let's talk about this thing called, we got to pivot. We got to make a pivot because we're off a little bit. So let me see here. All right, let me mute Emily. Okay, so let's talk about this thing then. So a lot of you guys are, as we are trying to figure out where they're at, I think we're streaming again, but let's talk about this thing called a story. So the simplicities of our business is for us to tell our stories. And so a big part of what we're doing is figuring out what your unique story is. See, all of us have a really, really unique story. In fact, I think that shift number 9 in here was the importance about telling your story and how important that is. And so it's not just telling your story, though. You and I can tell our stories, but I can do it in a way that's compelling, that's exciting, that's empowering. And you can do it in a way that's boring and that's bland and that nobody cares about. So not only does your story need to be, completely authentic and authentically you, and we're going to work on how to tell this thing efficiently, but you also want to do it with a sort of energy and passion and excitement. And those are the ones that really start to push the dial forward. So I think we have Andrea and Chris back on, and really excited for you guys to hear them and hear their story, and especially their run from sort of newer coaches to executive directors. So the kids, are you there, and can you share with us?
Hi. So yeah, thanks. Sorry about that. If Chris wasn't here, oh my gosh, we'd be in a world of hurt because he's my tech guy. So I would have been so lost. But anyways, I'm really excited to share with you all, my story and how I hit ED. So I started a program in October 15th, 2018. I had no intentions on coaching. I didn't even want to tell people I was doing this. I didn't share that at all because I thought it was my personal journey and I didn't want to hear any kind of outsiders' opinions on me doing this because I was doing this for me. But about a month in, I started feeling so amazing and loving my results and feeling happy with myself again. And my anxiety was the major thing that made me really think, wow, I think I just want to pay it forward because I've had anxiety my whole life since I was a little girl. I never took medication for it. I didn't want to do that to myself, but Optavia really cleared up my headspace. And I thought, more people need to know about this. If I can help someone out there who's suffering, that's what I want to do. and shoot, I'm going to make $200 doing this. That's going to be awesome because I've been a stay-at-home mom, and one income with Chris working, you know, that's hard to get by. So I bought my coaching kit, and Friday or my grand opening in early December, and it was on a Monday. And what was really cool is that Friday, I signed up my first 5 clients all in one day, and I hit senior coach. So that to me was amazing, and amazing to so many people because you guys were all cheering me on, and it felt so good. That affirmation felt amazing to me. And I just kept sharing away. So I always, from the beginning, treated my business like a business, never like a hobby. I just went for it. If Andrew told me to do something, I was doing it. And I really feel like my story is the biggest tool that I have. So sometimes you have to share the messy stuff to get to the good stuff, right? Because sharing that I have anxiety, that's not very fun. But anyways, so I ended up, like I said, hitting ED. Or no, I didn't say that part, sorry. So I hit ED in January, at the end of January. And I'll never forget getting that paycheck, my bonus. I was waiting for my kids to get in the car. I got an email from Optavia saying, you know, you have pay. I opened it up and it was $3,200. And I was like, what the heck is this? And I jumped in my business group and I was like, I just got this. What is this money? They were like, that's your bonus. I was like, but I got a bonus last month. They were like, yeah, you get a bonus every month. And for me, that was a turning point. $3,200 represented so much for my family. It was life-changing. And I really just took off from there too. So it was really awesome to just keep sharing my story, helping others. That gave me something that I've never felt before. Being a stay-at-home mom, you know, was great. That was always my dream. I only wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and have kids and take care of my husband and all that kind of good stuff. But that's a hard job, and not that my family didn't appreciate me, but it felt really good to just have something that was mine and be really good at it. So, yeah, it was just a matter of making believers out of people. And with Optavia, I found my voice and I found my value again. And I just really went for it. So I always had dreams, but not the means. So when I got that bonus check, I'll never forget telling Josh on my Coach Exploring call that vacations were important to me. I wanted to take my family to Maui. So in 3 months, I did that. That same week I got my bonus check, I booked us to Maui. I took care of the flight, the hotel, expenses. I mean, everything. Expenses came later, but the major part of getting us there, that was all me. So it felt fantastic. And I just always wanted more. I was chasing more because this was the vehicle that was going to take us there for my family. And, you know, again, just helping others was so awesome. So that is kind of how I did that. Just going for it, living in structure, posting daily, starting those conversations. When I started Facebook, I only had 207 friends. So in the month of December, I added 500 people. That was 500 conversations that I started in December. I had to change my name because Chris is a police officer, so that's a little tricky for us. So I don't use my last name because I don't want to add someone that he might, you know, have conflict with. But we worked around those challenges, and I didn't care. I went all in because this really felt amazing to just help someone in need. And that's basically it, just sharing and going for it. And, you know, being shy, being a stay-at-home mom, having my anxiety, lots of chatter. I didn't care. I just really didn't care. I just shared away because I feel like I have a gift and my story helps people. When I get someone on the phone and they tell me they have anxiety, that's a doorway for me to really get them to understand that their life is going to change and I'm going to help them. And this is different than anything you've ever tried. So yeah, I hope that covers everything. I know I kind of rambled and talked fast, but that's basically it. Oh, and then Chris has a huge part too.
No. I'll make it quick. You know what? In the beginning, I I didn't. By the way, she got to ED on her own, guys. And the reason why I say that is because I wasn't the most supportive spouse in the beginning. I mean, I understood what we were getting into, but I didn't know how I could contribute because I do work full time, and I would contribute a little things like how I could help out and make her some digital media, maybe help promote the business in that way. But it wasn't until actually I got on program, which was New Year's Day of 2019. And I was always a big boy. If you see my before pictures, you'll see. But I ended up dropping a lot of weight very quickly. And my coworkers were like, dude, you've been heavy forever. What are you doing? And I was able to finally start talking about it. I felt comfortable talking about it. I was like, hey, listen, I'm part of this program. My wife's a coach. Check her out. And we started signing up cops left and right. And it wasn't just our agency. Then it started around the other agencies because there's this heavy cop that all of a sudden slimming down and they I was starting to bring her clients. And like I said, this was post ED though. So she did that on her own. I regret that because if I would have gotten involved a little sooner, she probably could have hit ED, not in 3 months, or 2 months, but maybe probably that first month. I don't know. It could have been quick if I was there. But you know what? Since then, I've learned a lot and how I can contribute, and I try to fit in where I can because I do work crazy hours as a detective, and it's not this 9 to 5 anymore. It's all hours throughout the night. So, anyways, I'm really proud of her. Like I said, she is 100% responsible for making this on her own, and going forward, any spouses out there really that are listening to this, try to jump on, try to learn, talk to the brother. Is Andrew Kidd? Okay, what's the catch here, dude? There's something going on. Who's this, Jamil guy? Who's this Josh Bama guy? And, once I started seeing the calls, I was like, okay, it's cool. We're good. And now I'm loving it. So if you see me on social media now, I can't stop posting. So anyways, that's it.
I'm so glad that you guys shared. Did you guys get any value from that? I mean, just you guys go back and look at the chats that they were putting in. Because that's very, very special stuff. I'm so happy for you guys and so glad that you, are really doing this and really made the commitment and decision. So, they have stories, and that's what this whole thing is about is figuring out what your unique story is and then telling that story very, very well. And so we want to jump into that because a big part of us moving forward over these next couple of days, and then using these next couple of days as a platform to your next couple of years, that it's all the same stuff. So everything that we're doing now is what you're going to be continuing to do. So I want to move forward, and I want Emily Flores, Global Director, to come on off and really share with us how does she go and connect with people, use her story out in public, because she's one of the best that I have seen to do that. So Emily, can you take it away?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'm super happy to be here and speak to you all this morning, just because I really, really in my heart believe that our story is the most powerful tool that we have. But so many of you probably don't see the value in it yet. And because of that, you may be feeling a little stuck. And so it's sort of been my observation as a mentor coach that I think a lot of people think your story is something that you write right before you have your Facebook launch. You type it out, you say it, include it with your first before and after that you post, and then you kind of leave it in the dust. Wrong. That is not what we want to do. So, when I was a new coach, I knew my story. I knew it really well, but I really didn't have a clue that there was power in it. And if you would have told me, oh, Emily, there's so much power in your story, I probably would have just giggled uncomfortably, because I didn't have a clue that my story actually had the power to change people's lives. And I'm here to tell you that your story has that same power, but we have to, A, get really connected to it, and B, most importantly, you have to actually share it with people. Shocker. So depending on where you are, in your coaching journey, you may not believe that yet, but please let that sink in. Your story is powerful enough to change someone's life. I promise you that. So I want to kind of take you back in time a little bit. When I became a coach, I had only been on program a few months, and I was doing the Nursing Mom program. So I had a pretty big, an explosive Facebook grand opening, because I had a pretty big mom following on Instagram. And, my story was that nursing was always going to come first and foremost to me but that I still was able to focus on me and get healthy. Um, and a lot of women connected with that. They felt like I did. And, you know, they thought that they would have to wait until they were done nursing to focus on themselves. And I was so happy to share that they didn't have to wait. And so I would say probably over half of my first 25 clients were nursing moms, because that's literally everything I ate and breathed 7 years ago. But you got to start to notice, right? 7 years ago, do people still think of me as a nursing mom expert? No, because my story today is not that of a nursing mom. So, you know, especially as a new coach, I shared my story with anyone and everyone, especially in public. I carried my oldest Chico in the sling everywhere we went. So people were always stopping and chatting me up because I had this cute little baby hanging off of me, and it made it really easy for me to talk to people and kind of get the word out. And I want you guys to remember, anytime you're asked questions like, what's new with you? Or what do you do? Or what are you doing at the park on a weekday? How are you today? All of this can go to health if you allow it to. And so, you know, what's new with me? Well, oh my gosh, I recently lost 50 pounds. So I'm showing other people how to do what I did, and I love it. What do I do? Oh, I'm a health and wellness coach. Full stop. I used to always say I was a therapist first because I was so attached to my identity as a therapist, but I had to get over it because guess what? Like, that wasn't getting my story across. I needed to get over the stuff that was in my head. What are we doing at the park on a weekday? Because I make my own schedule. I have my own health coaching business. You know, I get to arrange my day how I want. And even a simple question is, how am I today? Great. I just got a text from a client. They're off blood pressure medication. I'm so happy. I love what I do. So do you see how you don't have to make it a big deal? It's just about being able to insert it in conversations when it makes sense. But guess what? It makes sense like in every single way. So, you know, I got really good at telling my story in about 30 to 60 seconds because people have really short attention spans, and you got to know how to gauge your audience. So I got really good at listening to people and what their needs were, and then sharing parts of my story that was appropriate in order for us to connect. So if I'm talking to a dude who's interested in a program for himself, I'm probably not going to tell him how amazing the Nursing Mothers program is. Not a big connection there. If I'm talking to a former athlete, I'm definitely going to share, you know, my background in dance and as a former athlete as well. I'm going to share like my cultural background with someone who, you know, my family, food is kind of the center of our world. And so if someone's going to connect with that as well, I'm going to share that with them. You know, maybe a woman is sharing some kind of disordered eating and that she has a lot of shame about that. And I'm going to tell her I've struggled too. Or just, you know, a mom who's frustrated and feels like a stranger in her own body. I'm going to tell her that I just dropped 46 pounds in 4 months while still nursing, and watch their jaws drop. So I definitely didn't get good at sharing my story from keeping my mouth shut. And trust me, it's not like it was really in my nature back then to be so chatty. Before coaching, I would talk to people, but it's not like I was out there seeking conversations with strangers. But once I started coaching, I kind of gamified it to make it fun for me, and to give myself a challenge every day. So I would, you know, of course, start the day with, I wonder whose path I'm going to cross today, whose life is going to change because our paths cross. And then I would give myself daily goals of how many people I wanted to share my story to. Not because I wanted to, guys. It was really hard and uncomfortable, but I knew that I needed to get over myself, and just get out of my own damn way. So, you know, I started to also see my clients starting to have all these massive wins. And not that I felt responsible for their success, but I knew if they hadn't heard about the program from me, then they probably would have missed the opportunity. And that was a big deal for me. It made me feel like there's no way you could keep your mouth shut, Emily. You have to keep sharing with people. So, you know, now 7 years later, what I share now is very different than what I shared in the beginning. My story has actually, you know, obviously evolved as it should. First, I was nursing, then I wasn't, then I was pregnant again. And I shared that journey, you know, about, I mean, I gained probably half the weight that I gained with my first pregnancy because I had learned so much about how to actually eat. So I shared a lot about that. Then I was nursing again, shared about that. And now I've had probably, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years of just maintenance. And I share that, you know, different goals that I have at the time, maybe I'm resetting or getting on the 5 and 1 or trying to build muscle. I am open, I am honest, that I'm human, that I fluctuate, I don't act like I'm perfect. That is unrelatable and scary to people and a huge turnoff and way too much pressure for you guys to put on yourselves too. So please remember, it's okay to share your struggles as well. You gotta find a way to just keep it fresh and keep talking about the program in all aspects. Health is obviously always gonna be there, sprinkled at this point. Because if you've been a coach for a while, I would expect that you wanna build a team. And so your story will become a lot more coaching focused. Um, Obviously, if I have a season that I want to bring on more clients, I'm going to share a lot more about my weight loss story. But ultimately, at this point, I want to build a huge team. And so that means sharing a lot about coaching. And so I would ask yourselves these questions. So I would ask yourself, am I sharing a weight loss story only? You know, do I even connect with that story anymore that I keep saying over and over and over? You know, is my story all facts? Is it, you know, that I've lost 46 pounds in 4 months, 7 years ago? That does not evoke emotion. So is your story filled with facts and numbers and what happened and how fast it happened? Or does it have the feeling of how you felt before? Um, you know, when's the last time you sat down and maybe revamped your story for what's applicable to you right now? Because the basic focus of a good coaching story is going to have 3 elements, right? It's going to have how you felt before, what changed, and your current reality. So for those of you that maybe met your goal a long time ago, like I did, it might be time to sit down and really get connected to what life was like back then. I think a lot of times we forget how lost we were, how hopeless we might have felt. And to be honest, people can lose weight a lot of ways, guys. But when they hear your current reality and how that they hear their own story and your reality back then, they're gonna connect to it. And so, you know, I can't stress enough, you should know your story way more than, you know, the condiment list or every other minutia of the program. You know, a lot of you may know all the ins and outs and where to find this and where to find that, but if you aren't opening your mouth and telling people your true story, you're not going to have anyone to teach the 5 and 1 to. There'll be no one to teach. All right? So you will reach way more people just by being excited about your story versus program details. I promise. I just hear so many new coaches that are like, I got to read this first. I don't know everything yet. I haven't, you know, delved into the file section of the group. You don't need to know anything. I hadn't even done the 5 and 1 yet. I remember telling Jamil, how am I going to help people doing the 5 and 1? I've only done the nursing mom program. And he was like, have you seen how easy the 5 and 1 is? So we make up these stories in our head. So what I want you guys to do is just stay in the feeling. People don't care about stuff like how you met your coach or the fine details. They want to connect to the emotion because that's what's going to touch their heart. But their heart will not and cannot be touched if you don't open your mouth and tell your story. So it's really time to start telling people about you, about what happened, about what changed, because it's a lot more special and powerful than you realize. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. How good was that? You guys show Emily some love if that was valuable. I mean, she is so good with going out in public and really sharing that authentic story. I can remember so many times where she would come and say, you know, I made another connection, somebody at my boys' school, and now they want to talk about coaching. I'm like, what the heck? But she knows her story and she knows what she has. And so now it's time for us to transfer that onto you. And one of the platforms where you can get really, really good with sharing your story and making connections and moving these to health assessments or Coach Explore calls is on social media. So I want to bring on David Harrison, who's one of the best on all different platforms over the years with connecting and sharing his story via social media. So David, are you there?
Hey, Jamil, thanks. Hey guys, happy to be here. Definitely didn't become good at these platforms on my own. Asked a lot of questions, learned from a lot of people. With my story going into the military, being overweight and having to run in a sweatsuit up the canyon by my house. Justin remembers, he was there. Just to get into boot camp was kind of a bad habit that carried on with me for a long time. So always crash dieting and trying to do the next best thing to lose weight, not really being able to do, working out, kicking my butt, doing that kind of thing, just was really an eye opener for me when I did this program. And that's something I made sure to share. And that was huge for me, sharing every little thing. I want to share a cool story with you guys real quick. The other day, I was on social media, right? A huge platform that we have, a huge stage that we can talk and bring value to people, and just have a really big audience and know where to really direct our intentions with that audience and what we're talking about with those people. So I was on social media and I was watching one of my friends who's actually a really famous drummer, and he really was doing these like 30-second segments where he was talking about really important songs that influenced him when he was drumming. And I thought, wow, how cool is that you get to see this guy that's already made it. He's in a lot of bands, he's touring and stuff, and he was talking about the songs that really influenced him stuff. And that's where that magic happens, is in private. You know what I mean? That magic for him to be that person he wanted to be in that practice, and that's where it was going down. I mean, think about it. Isn't that what we're really looking for when we're going to, like, when we're watching sports, when we're watching singers, when we're watching things like that? These are all these people that have found their gift and have found their value and their purpose, and they're just going full throttle into it. So I thought that was really cool, guys. So take that into account, that's where the magic is really happening, is in private. It's when we're practicing that in private, and we're doing those skills like you guys are all doing right now. So I thought that was really cool. With social media, it's really just a huge audience. I love to share with my coaches, like, go into groups that you guys have hobbies and things you love to do. Like, where is your passion at? Like, that's such a good place to meet people. Like Emily mentioned, she was in a lot of mom groups and stuff. Me, myself, and Justin were in a lot of off-roading groups. So we meet a lot of new people from there, and we're pulling clients out of there, all the time. People that are, suffering in silence, but didn't know a person that had this kind of tool that they could use to have a lot of change in their life. The cool thing about our story is it's always evolving. With me, it started with weight loss, and then evolved into, wanting more from my life, not just in weight. And my mentors really poking those dreams that were there behind all the crap that the world kind of throws on us. Blink at me if you're having a lot of self-development, everybody. My story, like, I love when I talk to people and it can just come up in every different way, because there's something that Optavia has to offer. It has a mind, healthy body, and healthy finances too. So usually when I'm talking to somebody on social media, it's really cool. You can hashtag your way into certain groups, hashtag your way into, weight loss, hashtag your way into entrepreneur, hashtag your weight loss story, into anywhere you want, into goals, into losing weight, into all kinds of stuff like that. And that's what's really cool about social media, is you can really not only be on a different stage, but you can be in different rooms too, of where you kind of want to go, where you can direct that value. Your story is probably the most important thing, if not the most important thing, where we're bringing that energy to people, and talking to them, and then really listening to what they have to say. Not so much just being a talker when we're talking to people. I love how Emily said, learning how to condense our story down. I lost 52 pounds in 6 weeks. But telling people, that part of the story, and them not experiencing it, they're not going to feel it. So it's when we're hitting them with that feeling, of those first days on Fat Burn. You remember how you guys felt, the first week on Fat Burn, really ready for change and excited about it. And that's just it, guys. You guys really, with social media, there's so much there. It's such a huge platform to use. Like, really, you guys use your, connect with your mentors. There's different ways. Ask other coaches for help. Like, there's a lot of different things to do on social media. It's such a huge platform.
Dave, thanks so much, man. Did you guys get some help from that? One of the things that I love about social media, and, Facebook is a big one. I would say even back in the day, I remember putting together Instagram training. I was still very new as a coach, and one of my mentors, Kim Fisk, was doing one of her summits, and she asked me to put together a presentation on Instagram because I was getting and was acquiring so many clients from Instagram back then, more than even Facebook. But it's all the same. It is about connections. It is about really diving into someone's world. It is about learning how to ask questions, and then learning how to ask the next question, and then learning how to ask the next question. And then being able to infuse your story, just like Emily is able to do in public, but being able to do that in social media. For example, a lot of you guys know Kevin Wayne, who's just an amazing, amazing human being, great humor. You know, the way that we got connected was just doing the things that we talk about doing, adding new friends every single day. How many of you guys are doing that? How many of you guys are adding at least 3 new friends every single day on social media, whether it's a follower on Instagram, whether it's a new friend on Facebook? And what I'm giving you right now is a hint and a clue. And the reason why you won't do it is because you don't want to move from here to here. And I said, in order for you to be extremely successful, you got to get really comfortable with this position right here. And so you want to add at least 3 new people a day. And so this is what Kevin was doing to me. This is what I was doing with him. And so we got connected and we started this authentic conversation. And this authentic conversation turned into me figuring out what he was doing, what he was looking for. And he simply asked me, you know, if I was a personal trainer. And I said, no, I don't really work out that much anymore since I've lost 30 pounds in 5.5 weeks. I just pretty much do yoga, and I sent him a couple of my before and after pictures. Boom. Told him a little part of my story. Now, we are only looking for people who are looking for us. Write that down in your notes. I'm only looking for people who are looking for us. And so as we start to drip, you know, parts of our story, especially on social media, if they're interested, they will say, what are you doing? What are you doing? And this is such an easy and authentic way to move it to a health assessment. And so Kevin said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I thought you'd never ask. And the relationship started. So I want to bring on Integrated Global Director Justin Vini to really break down how does he connect with people over the phone. You know, when Justin got started, he was a man on fire. He had no idea what he was doing. He was just excited. And he was just picking up the phone and calling everyone. This is literally what we used to do back then. And quite frankly, I think this is why people like myself and Emily and Justin, I think it's one of the reasons why we move so fast is because we literally just had people, we would pick up the phone and just excited. We didn't know what we were doing, but we just knew what was going on with us. And so we were just connecting. So Justin, can you come on and explain to us how you did that and how you still do that?
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me okay?
Gotcha.
First off, I just want to start out. Can I be unplugged here for a second? Can you guys put a 2 in the chat if I can just be honestly unplugged, and even you guys can stare at my funny face while the internet decides to play tricks on me? So I want you guys to open up your phones right now, click on your contacts, and swipe all the way up. And I want you guys to start throwing numbers from your phone, how many contacts you have in here, so we can kind of see the numbers that are going through your phones. I have, I'm not going to do it real quick because I'm speaking right now, but I have over 1,600 people in there. 1,100, 200, 300, 1,800, 700, hundreds. I love it, Terry. 200, 300, 1,100, right? So you guys are getting the idea. Do you guys realize you have relationships with these people to be in your phone? Does everybody understand that? I'm going to go back to a really awesome statement that we talked about. It's called the 10 in 1. For every 10 people we talk to, usually 1 is interested and going to sign up today. So let's break that down on the 750, the last one I just saw. There's literally 75 clients in that 750 that are sitting in your phone right now. That's how those numbers work. And some of you may not believe me, and some of you may not see that. 1,300, there's 130 clients in there waiting for you right now. We won't even get into the 5 in 1 with 5 clients after they become a client, becomes a coach. But what I want to share with you real quick, for a lot of you who don't know my story, my name is Justin Avini, and I definitely forgot to put my timer on, apologize, or I will talk way over. But basically, I came into this more of an ignorance on fire. I was doing anything and everything you could possibly do. Probably, let's just not say incorrect, probably not the best way. I would get on the phone with people and talk to them. Oh my God, dude, you got to try this program out. Like Emily said, I wasn't even really started with my program. She was doing the Nursing Moms and didn't know how to really feel like she could coach people on the 5-in-1. I hadn't even started yet. And I'm just running my mouth. Hey, dude, what's this program about, Justin? You keep talking about it. Oh my God, dude, I don't know. Well, what is it? It's on its way. Well, what do you do with it? I don't know, man. All I know is I'm going to get shredded. Keep posted, right? Things that I was just sharing with energy, it doesn't really matter. So Jamil, he asked me to get on here and what do I share on my story and how does it go? That was my story. Well, what's going to happen? I don't know. You're going to get shredded. I'll keep you posted, right? I quit my job, by the way, probably within the first 2 days of coaching. I threw everything on a credit card. It took me about 7 months to show up to this. But when I showed up, I was so, let's just be real, pissed off at my boss. It was either throw him off a roof or find another path in life. And that was at that point. I had a decent relationship with Jamil. We talk about trust through my wife. They went to high school together and hung out all the time. And so I'd get to know him and we'd share conversations. And he was a former athlete turned dad. I was a butterball in high school turned six-pack guy. So we would chat about exercise and nutrition. So we had kind of a relationship based on that. And so when he shared this with me, I wasn't really interested in hearing about the spaceship food. I could do this on my own. I'd seen my wife struggle with plans like this because I thought I knew everything. Key thing to why when you get on a phone, you want to get them to the phone and not just send them a link or send them a short video or do things. You want to talk them through it because I had an image of what this was as a meal package company. That was it. That's why it took me 7 months to show up. But I was in so much pain, I decided, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I hopped on program, didn't want to. I went into the gym day 2 and day 4. I fought my coach. I did a lot of things backwards that I wasn't supposed to do. So, I mean, I was posting on my timeline. This is how unrelated to Facebook I was. I didn't want one. I didn't have one. I was posting on people's timelines, call me. So when I was ready to make this happen, I didn't care what people thought. We talked about the effort factor yesterday, and it was more of like, I literally feel like the best way to say this is I was too stupid to care what people thought. And that may be a wrong way to word it, but just being real with you, I really didn't care what people thought. I was going to share something at a high level, even if I was doing it incorrect to now. And now it's been a fact of I share it with everybody because I believe everybody should be a coach. Somewhere in this program, if you realize that this is not a weight loss company, that you should be sharing the coaching aspect with it. And so I was blessed coming into it as the coach. So I don't have the hangups of, and I asked to speak freely. So give me grace here, but I don't have the hangups of, well, I don't have this amazing weight loss story. So there's nothing here because we're just a diet company, or we're just a lifelong habits journey weight loss company, or we're just a managing our weight company. So I don't have a story to share for somebody to be a coach. You're coaching. You're coaching. What is it doing for you? How do you put that into your story? So for me, current affairs, what's going on right now? And hopefully you guys can hear me. My internet loves to do that to me every now and then. But my current story is I was able to purchase 2 homes in the last 7 years. I was able to create 2 beautiful children with my wife. I was able to save my relationship with her because when we were dating at the time, she was going to school to be a nurse. I was not the nicest guy to talk to after 80 hours a week, getting yelled out on a roof all day, working 10, 12, 14-hour days, especially in the summertime, 100-degree weather as a roofer. You're just getting chewed out all day, come home stinky, tired. And then I'm supposed to have this amazing relationship with my wife or my girlfriend at the time. That's where a lot of divorce comes from, is the stress of money. Because you're so focused on things, you're not focused on each other. You don't have time to have that passion. You don't have that time to share with her and sit on the couch and ask her how her day was. You're burnt. And respectfully, I understand that. So when I get on a call with people and you guys create a list, I know a lot of us get in here and we're like, okay, first 10 calls, they asked me to make this list of 10 people, and I'm going to make these practice calls. And now guess what? Most of us never touch our phone again. And there's contacts sitting in there, relationships sitting in there, people that are trusting in you sitting in there, a lot of them hurting. But we don't know that because most of the people we talk to, just like us, we're nervous to share our opinions and our thoughts and what's really going on with us, being vulnerable. So they're not going to do the same thing to you. So you're like, oh, that tough guy, David Harrison, I'm not going to share this with him because he don't need it. He's a Navy officer. He's a dad. He's making it happen. Things are going on, right? And then when he comes to you, he smacks you in the mouth and says, hey, Jay, I need help losing some weight. What have you been doing? And then I'm like, dude, Dave, bro, you're a father. You could totally do this and work from home. And now the wheels are spinning and I'm getting shifts, right? And so I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Like, why did I judge that guy? So all these people in your phone, don't judge them. Reach out to them. I love the analogy of the coffee. A waitress gets a job at a coffee shop and she goes in there and she's not caring if somebody wants coffee. She doesn't quit her job that day because, holy cow, I talked to over 100 people and 35 of them told me no on coffee. The other 40 I didn't approach because they looked like they were in arguments or grumpy. And the other 30, they said they wanted coffee, but 35 of them told me no. So I'm not doing it. I'm done. I can't, this isn't for me. I can't sell people on coffee, right? Does she care? No. So that's how I got into this, man. I just started sharing my story at a high level. I lost 18 pounds in 2 weeks. I leave that for last. That is not my pivotal moment. My excitement is I quit my job. I brought on 28 clients in 30 days, talking the way I'm talking right now, not knowing what I'm talking about, but I was talking. That's what Emily's saying. You don't have to be a guru with the Dr. A's book. You don't have to know and spout out element 14 and all this stuff. And I'm on page 4 and the line number 7, and it says this, getting ready to get ready to get ready. Or be so professional. We're not professional. I'm still working on my water. We just posted yesterday about advancing our health, right? So when you get on these calls, I'm looking for opportunity to talk to people. And you could use the word opportunity as a negative, or you could use the word opportunity as a blessing. I had a fire captain get on with me. And as Dave was sharing about the social media thing, once I got on the call, I'm talking to this man and I'm just pouring my heart out. And most of us would say, well, he's a fire captain. He makes a lot of money. But guess what? Through my experiences with a Rachel Richards and how her husband was working so many extra OTs, right? I did not have a problem sharing that part of my story when I got on and said, hey, brother, we got fire department people. And you mentioned, this guy got on, you know how he messaged me? He messaged me and said, he said, hey, man, I don't know if I know you through the hot rods groups we're in or the fishing groups, but I'm interested in your program. I'd love to chat. So when I got on, I'm listening to this conversation and I'm doing the health assessment like I'm supposed to. I'm not talking over him. But then when it's my turn to share my story, I'm like, bro, listen, man, over the last 7 years, this program has saved my life. I've saved my relationship. I've been able to have 2 beautiful children. I'm at home during this situation right now, blessed with finances, not struggling, able to help my father out and do things that I never could have imagined during this time, able to help family members out during this time. And I'm just so blessed. And I heard you say that you do offshore fishing as another source of income. A fire captain looking for another source of income? No, he doesn't have kids. No, he's not married. So why does he need the extra income? Because he's hungry for success. So is a weight loss program going to critique that and make him excited about it? Or is a full trilogy offering going to do that? So where is my story going to implement that? Hey man, I heard you say this. I'm going to be really honest with you. I know you probably do well. I know you don't have a family, but you mentioned doing offshore fishing for an extra source of income. You know, this could be powerful for you, bro. You're going to have a lot of people see this. You're going to have a lot of people see this. And whether you decide to coach them or not, I'll take them. I'm good with that. But they're still going to ask you on day 2, hey Manny, what'd you do on day 2? Hey, Manny, how did you get your water in every day? It's kind of a stressor. Hey, man, what did you do when you were running up those 2 flights of stairs with a fire hose? Like, did you modify your program or what's going on with it? They're going to ask you those things. So when I get on my call and I share my story with people, I'm looking for entries. I'm looking for ways to focus on people's lives. I'm not sitting there so worried about what I'm going to say. I'm listening. And then I'm going to ask them questions. I'm not going to throw up on them. So when I started this, it definitely was, hey man, it's a 5-in-1 meal plan. You're going to get shredded. To a now, hey, I was able to purchase a boat and purchase a trailer and go camping with my family. My wife's an RN. She's front lines, but she was able to go part-time. She actually called in off the last few days because she doesn't want to be in there. It's getting a little funky in certain areas. She's tired of floating. And floating means you go to different floors. You don't really know where you're at. But guess what? RNs make good money, but you know what? Hey, hubby, I'm going to stay home today. Is that cool? No sweat. We don't need the money, right? So you're sharing these things with people. You're finding out people who are RNs, people who are fire captains. We got the medical editor and web director of MMD loves doing this. You guys have all these image damage controls of your buddies on these lists. So what I'm asking you to do is go into your phones right now. Start sharing that cup of coffee with people right now. Don't prejudge your boy David Harrison because we're the macho guys and we hang out and we can't tell each other we have emotions and this and that stuff. And you go share this cup of coffee with David Harrison and you see what happened to him over the last 5 years when he blew out his pelvis and they let him go from the Navy, and that source of income all of a sudden gone like that. And he has something to fall back on as a single father at that time. You go share your story with these people in your phone that you have relationships with. You have so many people. So when you read that number, 1 in 10, 1,300 people, that's 130 clients you can start working with. And divide that out by 5. Let's just say, I'm not good with math, but Josh Bama's area. Let's just say that's 35 coaching partners that are eventually going to show up just there. And yes, we are using social media right now. That's not what I'm saying. And yes, we do go out and talk to people when this all opens up, like Emily said, but your phone is magic. You have all these people in your phone right now. Utilize that list. Don't just do the first 10 and get the practice calls out of the way. Write that hundreds list. Get these people out of there. Be sure that you've talked to everybody. Don't assume, don't judge. Thanks so much.
Whew, everybody, just take a deep breath real fast. Everybody just take a deep breath. You guys, can you thank Justin? I'm so glad you guys gave him permission because I don't know how that would have gone if you didn't give him permission to just be blunt and honest. I go back to 2013 when Justin started. And one of the things that he was so good with is just go create a mess. Just go create a mess. We'll figure it out later. Just go. That's why I said you must suspend all fear and thinking and just go. Just go. When you make a decision and you just go, everybody write down, just go. If we were in church right now, I'd say touch your neighbor and say, just go. You just gotta go. You just gotta go. You just gotta go. There's not much to think about. Just go. So do me a favor. I do want you to go into your phone and everyone write down the 10 people that you are going to go and connect with and share your story with today. Would you mean? Don't worry about it. Just go. Who are your 10 people? Write them down right now. I want to spend another minute or so as you write down who these people are. And part of your action step today is to text your support team who those people are and to let them know that you have gone and shared your story with them. That you've gone and shared your story with them. You don't need to know the quadratic formulas of life. All you need to know is your unique story. That's it. That is it. How you guys doing with writing down your names? Anyone finish? Any overachievers in here? You wrote down more than 10? Remember, one of the things that you have is your I will win the day cards. This is your covenant, your agreement with yourself. Look, I said we can help you, but in my book, I talked about you must do your own push-ups. I can be your personal trainer. I can encourage you. If you haven't been encouraged after today, then I don't know what to tell you. But as your personal trainer, if you're coming into my gym, I can just kind of pump you up. I can help you work on your form. We call that skills. But I can't get down on the floor and do the push-ups for you. If you want to get better, you got to go and do it. You just got to go. You just got to go. You guys have your names? I'm sure it'd be nice to have Justin Navini do all your calls for you. It's not going to happen. Have David Harrison do all your calls for you. It's not going to happen. Have Emily go start conversations for you. It's not going to happen. You gotta go. You gotta go. Just go. Maybe that's our slogan for this whole rest of the series. You got to go. You guys got your names? All right, let's jump into some of these action steps. So day 2 action steps. David Harrison, can you see this screen? Okay. So again, suspend all fear and thinking. Just go. Just go, my friends. Now, I want you to make your I will win the day cards. Okay, very important. And I don't just want this to be a 11-day thing. I want this to become a new habit to where you start winning the day. Okay, be sure that you take control of your day. Don't let your day take control of you. And once you have your card, I want you to post them into our Facebook page. Next, text your support team to 10 people today that you'll be reaching out to and sharing your story with. We just talked about that. Until at least May 1st, give something up that you are addicted to. Last month, for me, that was coffee. Okay, what is one of those things that's holding you back and not allowing you to perform at your optimal level? What is that? You guys put some of those things in the chat. I'm encouraging you, I'm imploring you, I'm challenging you, I'm inviting you to give that up, I want you to start looking at your goals and your dreams that you guys have down on that paper that we talked about, which is called structural tension. I want you to start looking at that at least 3 times a day. This is part of your action. And I definitely want you to look at it right before you go to sleep. This is very important. What I'm doing is I'm giving you hints and clues on how to reach your goals quicker. Continue to connect with your inactive client list. So continue to do that today. Start at least 10 new conversations with 10 friends off of social media. Now, this is in addition to those 10 people that you're going to be sharing your story to today, okay? So if you don't know what to say, start off by saying hi. And this is just a little tip. You want to start to get better with branding yourself and showing people on social media a little glimpse of what you're doing. So anytime you're on trainings like this, make sure to take pictures and videos and start posting them to Instagram, Facebook stories, and make sure that people know what you're a part of and what you're doing. Does this make sense? All right, you guys, so we got a lot to do today. We covered a lot. I want to thank you guys for being on. Thank all of our amazing panelists, Andrea and Chris Kidd, Emily Flores for bringing so much value, David Harrison, Justin Navini, and now you. You must go. We've laid out that yellow brick road a little bit more. But if you want to go to Oz, we cannot pick you up, put you on our back and walk you there. You will have to walk down that yellow brick road. That is called action. Have a great day, you guys. Let's go do it.